Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to a Walking Dead review of Season 9, Episode 1. So, I haven't done The Walking Dead in a while. I think I probably reviewed the season finale for last season, but the reviews weren't as consistent. I don't think so, because uh, they don't get views. Sometimes a Walking Dead review on this channel struggles to get even 100 views, which is just, it's not a big waste of my time. Like I said, I'm just turning on the camera. I'm not going to be like, oh, these videos. So some YouTubers on here that like vlog, and they don't even do any major editing. They're like, oh my God, it's just so much time to take out of my busy schedule. So I think I can make some of my subs happy and take the time to do a little Walking Dead video. But perhaps, you could do me a favor and make sure that you're still subscribed. And if you haven't already subscribe and click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post new videos. I have been having heartache after heartache, especially this year on YouTube. I'm trying to get to 6K, trying, but YouTube is making that very difficult. I got subs one day, don't have them the next. I don't know what to do anymore. It's kind of hard to really be able to really have a consistent subscriber base when the subs keep going up and down. YouTube keeps doing that to me. So anyway, let's do a review here. We have season 9 finally. Still, guys, still my favorite show on TV. And there was a big event on this. They kicked it off a little bit differently than last season was, where they just had like a whole action-packed episode. This time around, there was more story involved. It was a slower pace, which is probably due to a lot of fans complaining during last season, saying that the show had jumped the shark and all these other different like hyperboles and just complete just exaggeration where the show was going. Just there were some more action oriented episodes. Fans seemed to be losing interest, and it showed in the ratings. It wasn't just I thought at first maybe it was just fans kind of complaining about the direction of the show, but they genuinely lost interest, and that's a real shame, because I feel like this is one of the most exciting times in the show. There's a lot of things that were well worth the wait of watching all the other 8 seasons to build up to this point. Like I said, Negan is one of the best characters, definitely the best villain. I heard some ridiculous things about, the governor being the best villain of all time, which is just an insult to Jeffrey D. Morgan. No insult to the guy who played the governor. I mean, he's excellent as well, but Jeffrey Dean Morgan definitely deserves a lot of credit for bringing new life to this show. Not like it was losing anything, but he definitely added greatly to it. So in this episode, you would think that, this wouldn't have any real repercussions on the overall story. A young kid from the hilltop, Ken, he dies. He gets ripped apart by walkers. And I kind of like didn't have any emotional connection to this, because it was like a random character. A character I think he'd been there before on screen, but we hadn't seen him too many times. So I was like, why am I going to even care about Ken dying? So we find out that there is a reason why he died. There's a reason to the story. His parents are all broken up about it. They're mourning his death. It's a young teenage kid, dying at the hands of the walkers. So Gregory goes to the father, Earl, and to his mother, and convinces them that this is Maggie's fault, that she's led the hilltop into this, and that Ken would still be alive. And it's a very interesting thing. It shows how how evil and conniving Gregory is. And they also talk about an election that happened off screen, where Maggie was firmly cemented as the leader of the hilltop. Gregory lost the election, and therefore Maggie is the supreme ruler. And Gregory, as you can imagine, is not happy about this. It wouldn't fit his character to just, ride off into the night. So he's trying to work things behind the scenes. He's trying to pull strings, and this is his perfect opportunity. So he convinces Earl to try to murder her. And they kind of do it in a good way that only Walking Dead can, with the transitions where we don't have to sit there through the whole explanation. All of a sudden, the cloaked figure lunges at Maggie after Gregory informs her to go inspect Glenn's grave because it was defaced. So, of course, this riles her up and she goes rushing over there. The baby carriage gets knocked down, and some of the hilltop comes to aid Maggie. They unmask this hooded figure, and it's Earl. It's Ken's father, the father of the kid who died, and she asks, "Who put you up to this?" He reveals that it's Gregory. I think she asked, or she kind of just figures it out. But anyway, when she goes to Gregory's house, he ends up, pulling a knife on her, going after her, and we finally get to see that payoff. Finally Gregory's showing his true colors. What he wanted to do all along was murder Maggie and take the hilltop back over as its corrupt, inept leader. So after this, the next scene we see is Gregory with a rope around his neck, and he is about to be hanged. And this is something that I talked about during last season. I says, "Oh, it's going to be satisfying. Gregory is going to end up, dying." Like this is what always happens when a character is this evil when they can't get any more evil. And it's probably a good thing that they waited this long. There's just one thing about this, and it shows like the power of the storytelling of the show and how it's better than ever. When you see Gregory and they whack the horse's ass and the horse goes shooting out of the gallows, and Gregory gets hung. Kids show up from the hilltop, and they kind of partially see him getting hanged. And you got Michonne, who's trying to say stop at the last minute. She doesn't want the kids to see it. And you see like Maggie is not bloodthirsty. It's kind of like bittersweet. You kind of see her face like she's, a bit. She feels that this is justice. And in a lot of ways it is. But, you see the man, gasping for air and everything. And it's just like the death wasn't as satisfying as you think it's going to be. And that's not because of the show, and not that they didn't do it away. I mean, they did it. They tried to make Gregory's death as important and and as final as possible. But the thing is, it's like at least it's kind of like you feel it's a little bit sort of like a death penalty commentary, and I've kind of struggled with this on myself, like in real life about like how I feel about it. Should it, is it a thing? And it's funny because not only for this episode, did I see this event happen where it was like a commentary on the death penalty. I had also been watching the other day an episode of Boston Legal, which I think I've mentioned in the past. It's one of my favorite shows of all time, starring James Spader. And he tries to go down to Texas, where the death penalty, where they execute more people statistically than any other state. He tries to argue the point before the court, about the death penalty. He's against it. And they show when they take this kid and they sit him down and they give him the lethal injection, and how the kid is like scared for his life. And prior to that, he had talked to the priest and everything and tried to right the wrongs. It's a little bit different because they paint the picture that the kid is innocent, but he's already made right with God, so he doesn't want to upset God by saying now he didn't do the crime after admitting to it. But you see how uncomfortable it is, on screen. You see them sticking the needle in his arm, and you kind of question, like, if you support the death penalty. Well, it's like anyone could say that, oh, they're evil. I hear it all the time. Oh, this person and that person, they've committed a terrible crime. Kill them. That's the ultimate form of punishment. And there's no real way of saying that there is. It's so final. It's like you've taken their life. So it's like they might not be suffering. Even it's a way of just, kind of just taking them out of the picture. And the way they feel is like, if this person was a big threat, what if they escaped, or they were let loose, they could perform the crime again. So it's an interesting commentary. It's not as final, but they kind of try to make you feel bad. Like, here's a terrible person that tried to get Maggie killed, and then you kind of see him hanging there, and he's so vulnerable, and you're just like, you know, it's kind of deserved, but really was it in that fashion, And then they kind of talk about why, and they'll say this in the next episode. She locks up Earl, but why is Gregory the one who got killed? So you're kind of like, it's a different set of standards. They both did the same thing to Maggie. They both lunged at her with a knife. So like, why did he get locked up? And Gregory ended up getting the death penalty. Why did he end up getting hanged? So that's a really interesting little juxtaposition that they threw out there. And that was a really good episode, I have to say, especially with a powerful ending like that, where a major character ended up getting killed off, and it was uncomfortable, and it was an interesting little thing, that the way how they showed the death, and the fact that this is truly like one of the first deaths where it was solely at the hands of the characters, of the human characters, and not of the walkers or Negan or somebody like that. This was actually like them executing somebody. And you kind of feel, when you hear the title of the episode, New Beginnings, it's like, you would think that now that they're like rebuilding the world and there's no real laws, so they're kind of instituting new laws, like that this is a law, this is a policy that is like still kind of looming over everyone's head, and they're kind of carrying this over from the past world. So good commentary there. Some people might not like it, that it might have been sort of like a political commentary, but this sort of thing was not annoying. It didn't feel pretentious. It felt like it's a good claim. It's it's something that is a hot, or used to be like a hot button issue. I don't know. I haven't really heard it mentioned too much nowadays, with so much else going on in the political landscape. So it was kind of really interesting, and a good way of having the story revolve around that little commentary. So it was a good episode, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I still got another episode to review with number 2, so I'm a little bit behind, but wanted to treat my subs to this. So check out some of my other videos here if you want to go back and watch some of my old Walking Dead reviews. Go ahead. They sure could use some extra views, I'm pretty fucking sure. So there you go, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. Until next time.